He was once considered the fastest man in baseball, but few know the story and the struggles of former Atlanta Braves outfielder Gary Cooper. Tonight, we take a look at the life of the Garden City native longing for a second chance at his field of dreams.
I'm going through the time for one day.
One day. That's all 68-year-old Gary Cooper needs to collect a pension from Major League Baseball. It's been 45 years since the Garden City native donned a uniform for the Atlanta Braves. Cooper was an outfielder who, despite insurmountable odds, realized his dream of making it to the Major League.
I wasn't but 18, and all of a sudden Atlanta, drafted me. I ran out of high school, it was amazing.
Once upon a time, Cooper was a standout athlete, a living legend at Groves High School. He excelled in track, basketball, and football, but baseball was his passion.
And I had a great high school career. I played all sport, and then till Atlanta, got in the mix. And the thing about it, they never came and scout me. I thought I was going to end up with the Dodgers.
In 1975, just days before graduating, Cooper was selected by the Atlanta Braves in the third round of the MLB draft. He played 6 years in the minor leagues, even making his way back to his hometown for a 3-season stint with the Savannah Braves Double-A team at Grayson Stadium. But the reception was not what he expected.
You got a hometown kid, you packed the stadium. The only time the stadium was packed when they used to have opening night. That was Union Camp night. And that was the only time. But other than that, you could hear people talking to each other in the stadium.
Despite the lack of support, Cooper kept working hard. And at the age of 23, he got the call he'd been waiting for.
We was in Jacksonville, and Eddie Hossey just took me out the lineup. I had no reason why. I said, what's going on? So he pulled me to the side. He said, hey, you got to meet the team in Pittsburgh. I said, man, you crazy, man. He said, yeah, man, you got to meet the team in Pittsburgh. Hank Aaron calling you up. And then I ended up catching the plane, went to Pittsburgh, got there, so excited, I ended up in the wrong locker room. And then when I met Willie Starcher, Dale Parker.
And on August 25th, 1980, Gary Cooper made his big league debut.
So in that game, I believe it was in the 9th inning, the Braves had a lead, and Braves manager Bobby Cox inserted Coop into the game in left field as the defensive replacement. And with 2 outs in the 9th, Pirates speedster Omar Moreno laced a line drive base hit to left field that took a strange bounce off the AstroTurf there, off the artificial turf, and it went over Coop's head. But he turned around, he grabbed the ball, barehanded it, and fired a strike into second base. And Omar Moreno was out trying to stretch a single into a double, and that was the end of the game. So that's how Gary Cooper made his major league debut with a spectacular defensive play in left field in Pittsburgh against the world champion Pittsburgh Pirates.
Cooper spent 42 days on the Braves roster, playing in 21 games. But as fate would have it, his career was cut short, just 1 day shy of qualifying for a major league pension. He was sent back to the minors 1 week after a rainout against the San Francisco Giants, a matchup the Braves were not required to make up.
You hurt my pride, So I toughed it out, and next year I just went to spring training and announced my retirement.
The years that followed weren't kind.
And after I left baseball, I ain't see nobody. When I was playing baseball, they called, Cooper need some tickets, no problem. After I came home, boom. I stayed in an abandoned house for 13 years, off and on, but it didn't stop me.
In fact, the former athlete's life took a turn for the better 14 years ago when he met local lawn care company owner Robert Jonas. Jonas not only hired Cooper, but embraced him as family. And after hearing his story, he got the ball rolling to get Coop compensated.
Obviously, we're swinging for the fences. I got in touch with a Rod Nelson on the way to the job. And, I called him up, and, he started looking him up immediately. And he said, yeah, I can't believe I've never heard of Mr. Cooper. I think, unfortunately, that's been his song and dance kind of fallen through the cracks. So he got involved, introduced us to Dave Mercy and our current attorney, Mr. Kevin Campbell, and just trying to figure out what we can do to help him out.
After 2 years researching Cooper's plight to obtain pension, Dave Mesry, an award-winning journalist out of Detroit, wrote an article last spring for ESPN's multimedia platform, Anscape.
Where this goes, but as things stand, I still think it's possible if the Braves or any major league team would consider signing Coop to a one-day contract, that would kind of be a workaround because the union is not going to budge.
The article was a hit. Soon, Coop's story gained traction nationally and locally. It even caught the attention of Savannah Mayor Van Johnson, who asked the Braves via social media to sign Cooper to a one-day contract to qualify for his pension. Meanwhile, Jonas started a petition on change.org, requesting the Braves to do the same. So far, it has garnered more than 18,000 signatures.
It is an extraordinary situation, to miss it by one day. That's a hard pill to swallow. So we're just trying everything possible to try to help him, and that way he can enjoy his later years.
Jonas has also started a GoFundMe that has raised more than half of his $20,000 goal to help Mr. Cooper with living expenses. But despite the groundswell of support and several appeals, Cooper's decades-long struggle to obtain a pension from the Major League Baseball Players Association is slowly losing momentum. He's hoping this story will lead to another big break into a better season.
One more day would certainly be a fitting ending to Gary Cooper's story.
I ain't giving up. I went this far, I ain't giving up. So I think something gonna happen. Because 25 started off good for me. Got a car, which ain't had a car in 40 years. Now I got transportation. That made me feel so good. And then I got my son. He always had my back. It gonna happen when I least expect it. So I ain't gonna sit and worry about it. I'm getting old, but I ain't gonna, getting gray, but I ain't gonna stress out on it. I ain't homeless no more. I got my big boy right there, so I'm good. If it happened, it happened. And the only thing I can say, I tried. Did that, done that. So what else can, do but leave it up to him.
2 years ago, Gary Cooper was inducted into the Greater Savannah Athletic Hall of Fame, a recognition some say is long overdue. Dave Mesry flew in from Detroit to attend. A side note to this story, in 1968, when legendary former Negro Leagues pitcher Satchel Paige needed 158 days on an active major league roster to reach the 5-year minimum required to receive a pension, 19 teams turned him down. But the Atlanta Braves signed the 62-year-old as a part-time pitcher and advisor. Although he never played a game that season, Paige eventually earned his pension. Let's hope they do the same for Mr. Cooper. If you'd like to sign the petition to help Mr. Cooper get his pension, there's a link on our website. Go to wsav.com/honoring Black History.